Kevin Gordon here from AutoSavant.com with your February 1st edition of the Afternoon Commute. It's National Change Your Password Day. If you haven't already, go change all your passwords. Couple things for today, but before we get started, I took the long-term test EcoBoost F-150 in for its first service today, which consisted of an oil change and a tire rotation. The local Ford dealer was absolutely excellent, really a commendable job. I came late, they got me right in, nice waiting room. It was the most pleasant service experience I've had in a long time, and it doesn't put me in any rush to buy another luxury brand vehicle anytime soon. Did want to talk quickly about some of the issues that I did bring to them with the F-150. There's two. One is the rear left bumper has a little rust spot on it. It seems to be a defect from the factory. I didn't notice when I took delivery of it. It's on the inside rail. And what they said is Ford typically won't warranty those types of things on something this new until they grow a bit in size. They said, you know, you can take it back to where you bought the truck, because I did not take it to get serviced where we purchased it. I took it to my local dealership. And I said, you know what? I'll just let it rust more. So we'll see what happens at the next update as it rusts more, because I think there's 100,000 miles in corrosion protection on the trucks. Number two issue. If you read the first long-term test update, I talked a little bit about issues with the backup camera, which in the non-nav equipped cars is in the rearview mirror. And there's two issues with the backup camera. One is the fact that in the my settings, you can go in and set it up so that there's grid lines that appear on the backup camera, which give you an idea about distance. And then there's also a audible warning that you can turn on and off. The audible warning works just fine, but the grid lines disappear every once in a while. So you can turn them on, turn on and off the truck 3 or 4 times, it'll be fine. But then randomly they just disappear. The second and much larger issue is the fact that the rear view camera, when the truck was new, had what I would call like a high contrast mode while you were driving at night. And I've talked about this with a few people and nobody seems to know what I'm talking about. But I'm next to positive, and I may be crazy, that when the truck was brand new and you put the car in reverse at night, the rearview mirror would go to, the best way I can say it, is a much higher contrast mode. It almost looked like more of a night vision than the good color picture that you see during the day. And that's completely disappeared. Well, I talked to him about it, showed it to him, and I said to the tech, which, I took it to Fred Beans Ford in Westchester, Pennsylvania, if there's anybody local who's interested to know. They brought me back into the service bay, I walked into the whole thing, and I talked to the tech, and I said, it's clearly some kind of software issue. And so they looked, lo and behold, there is actually a note from Ford about the backup cameras on the 11 F-150s, and what it says is if there's a problem with them, it's actually the software in the actual camera. So they're ordering me a new camera and they're going to put one in. So I will post updates after that happens. Had 3 news items to talk about today, starting with the January sales results came in today, is basically the biggest news of the day. And the biggest news of that news is the fact that Chrysler is up 44% year over year. Really a very, very good January for Chrysler. Volkswagen was up 48% year over year. Ford was up 7% or so. And the frowny face for today goes to GM, which was down, let's see, what was it? I think 8% year over year. All the brands within GM were down. Chevy was down the least, down only 1.2%. Hey, we got good drivers ahead of us here. Somebody just ran a red light. Sorry, a little distracting. Anyway, so GM sales were not good. Cadillac was down almost 30%. And as a result, their stock price is not doing well, and so the poor January sales results are also leading to the fact that people are starting to think that their payback on the bailout might be reduced, which, you know, as taxpayers, hurts us the most. Moving on, the World Car Fan site posted images of the 2012 McLaren MP4 27, which it will be their Formula One car for the year. And of those 10 of you that may watch this every day, I'm sure almost none of you care, but to me, it's really exciting that Formula One season's coming back. The 2012 Formula One cars, the restrictions on them this year, they did not quite as sweeping of a design change as there was between 2010 and 2011, but they've gone to much more extreme sets of winglets on the front wings and airfoils, and you know, they really are getting extremes with those things. It'll be interesting to see that in a race, in the first corner, when they knock all the little winglets off their front wings, if it actually makes the cars any slower and if they're all doing anything or not. I'm sure the engineers in their wind tunnels and with their modeling have come up with something, but we shall see. And the final thing for today, little item, the 2013 Toyota Land Cruiser is making its debut at the Chicago Auto Show. Not a major show in sort of the auto show circuit, but nevertheless, it's making its debut in America. And the only newsworthy item about that is the fact that you can get it in any color you want as long as it's black. And no, they're not just selling it in one color, but there will be no options available for the 2013 Land Cruiser. It comes with everything, I suppose. And they'll sell about 1,500 of them next year. So there's your news for the day. I'm Kevin Gordon from Autosant.com with your February 1st edition of the Afternoon Commute, and I look forward to talking to you tomorrow.